First question: critically examine the impact of urbanization on water bodies. What are the various government interventions in tackling loss of urban water bodies? So, government intervention in tackling loss of urban water bodies and suggest remedial measures. Answer: the one thing that is common to Mumbai, Srinagar, Chennai floods highlights how unfettered urbanization has led to the depletion of water. So, how unfettered urbanization has led to the depletion of water bodies in urban area, which has pushed urban floods. The most one things that is common Mumbai, Srinagar, and Chennai floods, that is highlight how unfettered urbanization has led to depletion of water bodies in urban area, which has pushed urban floods. Impact of urbanization on water bodies. City planners have willfully neglected and destroyed these water bodies. So city planners have willfully neglected and destroyed these water bodies, and water bodies are encroached for development needs. Water bodies are encroached for development needs. So pollution of water bodies as they are dumped with sewage and garbage. Because of unplanned urbanization, much of the landscape around the lakes has been covered. So, because of unplanned urbanization, much of the landscape around the lakes has been covered by impervious surface. As a result, instead of rainwater, it is sewage and effluents that are fill up urban water bodies. So, please remember. And government intervention, national lake conservation plan, and national water crisis under national action plan on climate change, national water policy on rainwater harvesting, and the water prevention control and pollution rules, the water prevention control and pollution act, the water prevention control and pollution cess act, and remedial measures are like planned urbanization and developing a local solution like rainwater harvesting, so that involve in communities around the water bodies, reclamation of water bodies by desilting and periodic dredging, and strict implementation of environmental regulation, developing local waste disposal mechanism. Second question: what are the barriers that currently stop Indian members to APEC? What are the barriers that currently stop Indian membership to APEC? Discuss the advantage of APEC as membership for India. What should India do to move its aim of APEC membership? Okay, so what are the barriers that currently stop Indian membership to APEC? Discuss its advantage. How to India go to and join the APEC? APEC means Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation, is a regional or economic forum established to leverage the growing interdependence of Asia Pacific. So Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation is a regional economic forum established to leverage the growing interdependence of the Asia Pacific. Barriers preventing Indian membership, that is are some APEC members do not view India's politics and policies as supportive of wide regional integration, and wide trade of options, and so the APEC member do not view India's politics and policies are as supportive of wide regional integration and wider trade of options. The India's record of trade talks in WTO as well as bilateral one. Bilateral India is also seen as not having done enough to gain support of APEC members. Key elements in the Indian bureaucratic and business and political spheres assist the further opening of India's market, which limits the government options in trade and bilateral and in investment negotiation. India's largest trade deficit has not only blocked progress, but it has even led to the government to review its current bilateral trade agreements. Okay, India's large trade deficit has not only blocked progress, but it has given lead to the government to review its current bilateral trade agreements. Advantage of membership. So it would buttress Indian economic growth and development because of increased access to foreign markets and investment. And APEC members mechanisms are best prescribed will help Indian officials and business become more competitive and better prepared for the changing global economy. Through its processes and guidelines, APEC will facilitate India's implementation on the economic reforms it needs to complete. Though its process and guidelines, APEC will facilitate India's implementation of the economic reforms it needs to compete. Okay, so APEC membership would also help India prepare for potential inclusion in emerging trade agreements of the region. We had for Indian domestic for or trade policy initiatives such as GST and bringing other essential land and labor reforms. So India's trade policy initiative such as GST and bringing other essential land and labor reforms would signal the opening of market. So there need to be much more movements towards improving the ease of doing business both with the foreign and domestic companies. And there needs to be much more sign of India's enthusiasm to engage constructively and international negotiation. India needs to create support lobby in APEC for its membership bid. So what do you mean non-performing assets, and is it different from stressed assets? What are the adverse effects of India's bad loan problem on a bank's revenue system strip? So NPA mainly non-performing asset means interest or principal is not repaid by the borrower during a specific time period. NPA mainly means interest on political interest of interest or principal not repaid by the borrowers have during the specific time period. Stress asset means NPA plus restructured loan plus written off assets. So stressed asset means NPA non-performing asset plus restructured loan. Please remember this concept is very important all the time. Stressed assets. So stress NPA plus restructured loan plus written off assets and restructured assets and restructured assets equal to what restructured assets means. Some of the loans are restructured by banks. Some of the loans restructured by banks by giving a further opportunity to the borrower if they default. Some of the loans are restructured by banks by giving further opportunity to the borrowers if they default. So stress lesson NP plus RL plus RO WO. So restructure loan plus written off assets. So NP plus it is stressed asset and restructured assets. It is mainly some of the loans are restricted, but by banks by giving further opportunities to the borrowers if they default. And written of assets are those the bank or lender does not count the money borrower owes to it. Return of assets means that those are the banks or lender does not count the money. Okay, borrower owes to it. Impact of bad loans on banks revenue. So bank dependent loans assets for revenue as they get periodic interest and principal payments. Any problem or repayment affect bank revenue. The bank depend on the loans assets for revenue as they get periodic interest and principal payments. Any problems on repayment affect bank revenue. Okay. Also, they as the revenue suffer, the lending capacity of banks is affected. Also, as the revenue suffers, the lending capacity of banks is affected. Please remember also that as the revenue suffers, the lending capacity of banks is affected. Thus, further revenue generation is stymied. Banks also suffer lowering the of profit margins. Highest interest rates by the banks to maintain the profit margin. Highest interest rates by the banks to maintain the profit margin also affect borrowings. Next question: discuss Niti Aayog's 3-year action agenda in reforming various sectors of the Indian economy including agriculture. Important question. Answer: Niti Aayog's 3-year action agenda for the government provides a roadmap for reforming the various sectors of the economy. This is different from the top-down imposed model. So this is different from the top-down model imposed of different planning done by the Planning Commission. Top to down. So please remember, this is different from top-down. It is mainly down to top. Okay, from down. Start from down means village to upper level. So other sectors like trade and industry, services, creation of high productivity, high wage jobs, and focus on global market can potentially result in output worth and hundreds of billions of dollars, and hence a large number of well-paid jobs. Creation of coastal employment zones, which may attract multiple firms in labor-intensive sector. Please remember, it provides specific agendas for key manufacturing and service sector, including It provides specific action agendas for key manufacturing and service sector, including apparel, electronics, gems and jewelry, financial service, tourism and cultural industries, and real estates. So recommendations are for agriculture is reforming the APEC, APMC acts so that farmers are empowered to sell their produce to whomsoever they wish. Okay, so please remember recommendation of agriculture like reforming of APEC, APMC acts. So acts so that farmers are empowered to sell their products or whomsoever they wish. Create aggregators who would collect produce from farm and sell in competitive marketplace, and plugging the gaps of and proposes price and efficiency payment system wherein subsidy would be provided. So subsidy will be provided to for targeted produce in case price falls below the MSP threshold. And last here is some and proposes that farmers register their crops and acreage sown with the nearest APMC market. In case of plummeting price, they would be entitled to the difference. Shift to high value farm products and encouraging private sector participation in seed production and distribution, providing insurance coverage for 3 to 5 years so that the coverage extend to both goods and good and bad years. Okay, so provide insurance coverage 3 to 5 years so that the coverage extends both goods and good and bad years. Okay, so thank you.